Picture this scenario, because I can almost guarantee that everyone listening to this has felt it in the pit of their stomach at least once in their lives. You're driving to work. Maybe you're running 5 minutes late, your coffee is cold, and the stress of the day is already mounting. Suddenly, that amber check engine light flickers on. Your heart doesn't just skip a beat, it sinks into your gut. You know, logically, that if you take it to a mechanic right now, it's probably a $300 sensor. It's an annoyance, sure, but it is fixable. But then you do the poor man's math. You open your banking app and you see exactly $42.15. Your next paycheck is 4 days away. So you do the only thing you can do. You ignore it. You turn up the radio to drown out that rhythmic metallic rattling noise under the hood. You pray just to get you through the week. Fast forward 2 months, and because you didn't have that $300 then, your car finally gives up the ghost in the middle of a rainstorm on the highway. Now the tow truck alone is $200. That small sensor issue has spiraled into a $2,000 transmission failure. And because you're stranded, you miss 3 shifts at work, losing another $450 in wages. That initial inability to find $300 has now mutated into a $2,650 catastrophe. This isn't bad luck. This is mathematical trap. It is the distinct, measurable, and suffocating cost of simply not having money. My name is Bobby, and I spend far too much time thinking about the hidden mechanics of wealth, the invisible equations that keep most people running on a hamster wheel that never seems to lead anywhere. If you feel like you're working harder every single year, yet your bank balance remains stagnant, or if you feel like one bad Tuesday could ruin your entire year, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We need to talk about the truth that the gurus won't tell you. See, most financial influencers love to preach about discipline. They tell you that wealth is a result of grind and poverty is a result of bad habits. They'll tell you to cancel Netflix or stop buying that $5 latte as if saving $15 a month is going to revolutionize your life. But that advice is worse than useless. It ignores a fundamental economic reality known as the Boots theory of socioeconomic unfairness. This theory explains the wealth gap better than most economists with PhDs. The theory goes like this. Imagine 2 men. One is rich, one is poor. The rich man can afford a $50 pair of high-quality leather boots. These boots are stitched properly, they're waterproof, and they last 10 years. The poor man, however, only has $10 in his pocket. He can't wait until he has 50. He needs boots today to get to work. So he buys the cheap $10 boots with cardboard soles. They leak within weeks and fall apart after 1 season. Over the course of 10 years, the poor man has to buy a new pair of $10 boots every single year. At the end of a decade, he has spent $100 on boots, double what the rich man spent, and yet his feet are still wet and he has 0 assets. The rich man is dry, comfortable, and $50 richer. This is the poverty premium. You are literally forced to pay a surcharge for the lack of capital. Look around. This dynamic is everywhere. Let's talk about something as basic as toilet paper. If you have $60 to spare, you go to a warehouse club. You buy the mega pack. The cost per roll is pennies. You are stocked for 6 months. But if you are living paycheck to paycheck, you don't have $60 to lock up an inventory. You have $5. So you go to the corner store and buy the single roll or the 4-pack. You are paying 3 times more for the exact same product simply because you couldn't afford the bulk price. This applies to diapers, laundry detergent, and medicine. The math says that if you are broke, your personal inflation rate is technically higher than a rich person's because you are perpetually locked out of economies of scale. It gets even more predatory when we look at the banking system. If you have $10,000 in your checking account, the bank treats you like royalty. No fees, free checks, maybe even a little interest. But let's say you're struggling. You have $15 in your account. A forgotten $20 subscription hits. You are now negative $5. Does the bank say, "Hey, looks like you're having a rough month, let's help you out"? No, they hit you with a $35 overdraft fee. Think about the math. You effectively borrowed $5 for a single day, and it cost you $35. That is an interest rate of over 700%. If a loan shark did that on a street corner, they'd go to prison. When a bank does it, it's just standard policy. Last year, banks made billions in overdraft fees almost exclusively from people with less than $1,000 to their name. It is a wealth transfer from the bottom to the top, disguised as a service fee. But psychology plays a massive role here too. There is a concept called the scarcity mindset. Studies have shown that when you are legitimately worried about money, your functional IQ actually drops by about 13 points. That is the equivalent of losing an entire night of sleep. Your brain is so consumed with immediate survival that you physically lose the capacity to make long-term strategic decisions. This is why when people are broke, they often make decisions that look stupid to outsiders. They take the payday loan with 400% interest. They buy the lottery ticket. They eat fast food instead of cooking. It's not because they're dumb, it's because their cognitive bandwidth is maxed out just trying to survive the day. The boots theory isn't just about the math of money, it's about the math of mental energy. The rich man doesn't just save $50 on boots, he saves the mental energy of not having to worry about his feet getting wet for 10 years. He can use that brain power to invest or learn a new skill. The poor man is stuck in a loop of constant low-level panic. We see this in housing and transport too. A wealthy person buys a reliable car at 4% interest. A person with bad credit buys a clunker at 24% interest. Over the life of the loan, the poor person pays $15,000 for a car that was only worth $4,000, and the car will likely break down before the loan is even paid off. Renting is the same. When you rent, you are paying 100% interest. You get zero equity. But to buy a house, you need a down payment of $20,000. If you are paying 50% of your income in rent, you can never save that down payment. You are trapped paying $2,500 a month in rent for an apartment that would cost you $1,500 if you owned it. Even your time is taxed. If you have a washer at home, laundry takes 5 minutes. If you use a laundromat, it costs you $5 and 2 hours of your life. Poverty steals your time, and by stealing your time, it steals your future. So, how do we break the equation? The first step isn't trying to get rich, it's trying to stop the bleeding. The most powerful weapon you have is the buffer. Saving your first $1,000 is the hardest money you will ever earn, but that $1,000 is what destroys the trap. When you have that buffer, a flat tire is an annoyance, not a financial crisis. It allows you to buy in bulk. It allows you to fix the small leak before it becomes a total disaster. Stop looking at your purchases as spending and start looking at them as solving a problem permanently. If you have $50 extra, don't treat yourself to a meal out. Buy the high-quality boots. Pay off the credit card with 20% interest. You are fighting a war against entropy, and your ammunition is liquidity. Identify your vampire costs, the places where you are bleeding money just because you don't have money. Cut everything else ruthlessly until you can plug those leaks. You are buying your way out of the trap, one pair of boots at a time. This journey is unfair, and the wind is in your face at the start. But once you understand that being poor is a mathematical penalty, you can stop blaming yourself and start attacking the penalties themselves. If this video sparked something in you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Hit that subscribe button and let's keep breaking down these truths until we all have the high-quality boots. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.